Welcome back to The Ether, the show that disrupts the way you think about running your business. Join me, Brandon, and my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator of What If, on today's episode. Our goal is to provide context around what we talk about so you have the clarity to cut through the noise and the confidence to grow and run a truly harmonious business. Let's jump in and take the next step to achieving business freedom. Yellow, business freedom achiever. Let's crack a
What are we doing? We're disrupting?
We're disrupting. There's nothing more disruptive than a scratched glasses lens, and I think I have one of those. So I am already disrupted. We have achieved the mission for today.
All right. Peace.
That's it. We're out. See you next week. So, okay, how about this? Let's set the foundation here. Let's set the stage. Last week, if you listened, hopefully you did. Are you a subscriber? We love you if you are. Anyway, if you missed it,
you're not talking to me, are you?
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people listening. But we talked about how to get your mojo back. Does anybody remember why? It's because I triggered you by saying we were going to talk about value chains.
I remember.
Like, ugh. So we put it off a week, and we're back.
You're not selling this right, because I didn't go value chains. You set me off on a myriad of topics before we got on, and I was not anywhere near that I could hear the mellifluous sounds of value chains. I love value chain. I love it for all the reasons that one should love it, because of the focus and clarity and perspective that it gives you. So Brandon, please tee us up. Why did you want to talk about value chains?
I love
it.
I always tell our clients value chains are the sexiest thing in your business. And I think I might be overselling it, but no. So why I wanted to talk about it, because we obviously take our clients through the harmonious architecture, and I start talking about value chain mapping to understand where things are touching clients, what needs to happen internally. Are we maximizing those client interactions to maximize retention, profits, all these things? And I get these blank stares back, and people go, where do I buy a value chain? Is that like a chain link fence? Is that a Home Depot or a Lowe's thing? And I'm being a little bit dramatic here, and our clients aren't that dumb, but people don't fully understand what a value chain is. So I said, hey, let's explain it. Let's break it down in the context of harmonious. Welcome back. Look at me go. I'm pressing buttons left and right. Anyway,
classic. So listen. All right, here's the thing. When I go to my sister-in-law's house and her teenage daughters are there, my nieces, I love when they take over the Bose speaker with their phones and start playing music. I love it because it is not filled with all kinds of nonsense that I can't relate to. What comes out of the speakers are the sweet dulcet tones and harmonious riffs and jams from the 70s and 80s. Why?
Is it Prince? Do they play Prince?
Oh, they've played Prince. And I have said, atta girl, there you go. This is outstanding. Because the classics are coming back. Classic songs. And people go, what is this? This is crazy. Did you make this up? Hey, did you hear that new song by, about Jenny? Do you think anybody ever dialed that phone number? I think we've been down this road a lot of times. Where you welcome to the party, kids. Anyway, so just like Led Zeppelin, Value Chains is an oldie but a goodie. It's a classic tune that people have forgotten to sing. It's a classic instrument that they've forgotten to play. So we're going to pull that instrument out and help you tune it up. So Value Chains, we did not create it, but it is a classic component of business process management, of the guts and bells and whistles and all the things that people today, when they're talking about automation and documentation and process, that's in there. The value chains gives people a different lens to think about their processes. So when you think about a value chain, this is, for us in our architecture, when we talk about order, the discipline of that every business has to have. So let's just ground there for a second. If you're new to our channel, every business, no matter size, scope, or industry, has to play 10 chords for a harmonious business. They have to have 10 disciplines that you've heard of that have to be mastered and applied in the right way in order to create harmony across your business and help you go further, faster, funner with less effort. And those chords include things like strategic planning and process management and managing your human people who are playing with you in your business. Okay. So in business process management, in order, that's what we're talking about. It's that process kind of thing, okay, which can sound dull and dry, but it is not. Trust me. So in this discipline of business process management, we have this idea of value chains. For us, in order, it is how you take nothing and make something, how you take experience and make a service, how you take raw materials from the ground and you manufacture a widget. And in this delivery of value, which all business is, there is a chain of processes that run through your business that deliver value at the end to the customer. Think of it this way. These are the things that your customer is paying you for. So if it's a part of the experience, a part of the value they're getting, a part of the component of the widget, of the extracting materials, producing it and delivering it to them, that is the value chain. And if it is something else that you are doing that is not that, it might be a support process, but it is not the value chain. It's one of your other supporting areas. And you should think of it this way because it'll help you to find the right things that you need to automate, the right dials to turn in order to improve things like customer satisfaction or loyalty or retention. It is that chain of things that go through that are the heart and soul of how we make ever-living gobstoppers. What are those everlasting gobstoppers? This process, this value chain is how we do it, okay? So you have inbound logistics. We'll pause there for a second, Brandon. Is everybody tracking here? Did I leave anything out? We have the major notes that we're playing with here.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify real quick too, because when we talk about order, the discipline of order, most people, when they hear what we do as fractional COOs, operational consultants, whatever title you want to put on us, they reduce what we do beyond order, and they think it's just SOPs. And so that's what I kind of want to open people's eyes up to see and hear in this conversation. Yes, you can hear with your eyeballs. Is we're talking about SOPs, standard operating procedures, are a component of order, but the broader discipline is so much bigger. It includes things like a value chain, which we're breaking down. And the 10 disciplines of what we do are not all within order as well. So the operations of your business, so much bigger than just SOPs. So now you can dive back into breaking down a value chain.
Okay, that's good. All right. So when you think about what's in the value chain and not, so the kinds of things from if we're delivering value, we're taking nothing to make something. On the value chain first, we have inbound logistics. How are we getting the things? We have a widget. We got to assemble it though. So what are the parts and components of that? How do we generate source material, if it's advice or guidance, whatever it is? What is the inbound logistics of things? How do we procure it, store it, get it ready? Operations, and this is when a lot of people say, well, when they say, who's your ops manager? Who's your operations manager? I immediately go to the person managing this. This isn't what we talk about when we say chief operating officer, because I think everything that the CEO isn't doing falls under that. It's everything else. Okay. So here we're talking about operations. It's the actual assembly of the widget, the creation of and running of the courses, the maintenance of those assembly machines. Okay. That is operations. Then we have outbound logistics. How do we now take the thing and deliver it to the customers? Whatever tubes and pipes we have for that, whether it's a service or a physical product. And then the marketing and sales of that combined. Those are one discipline for us. That's ubiquity. But marketing and sales are typically how that's thought of. And all the things that go into that. Okay, that's and then there's the service. So I'm not talking about fulfillment there. Fulfillment's back further in the operations. I'm talking about service being, I don't know my password. I can't log in. or I wanted a left-handed widget and this one's a right-handed widget, or the damn thing broke within 2 minutes. This is kind of, we call it service in a customer service department. It's really issue resolution. If you think of it that way, it's clearer. There's an issue, it needs to get resolved. Well, who's going to do it? Call that guy. Okay. Everything else is a support process. IT, HR, research and development, learning and development, procurement in a lot of cases. And so you say, but procurement's important because you said we're going to have pieces and parts, and then we're going to have warehousing. And if you don't get cheap parts, you can't give them a cheap widget. We know our clients want cheap widgets, not sturdy widgets or fast widgets. They just want them cheap. So if you can't get me cheap parts, I can't give it to them cheap. So isn't procurement part of it? Well, that's also like saying they want great service, so HR has to provide great service. Are they paying you for great issue resolution? They're not paying you for great issue resolution. That is a component of your brand that makes you more likable. But really, I would never pride myself on an issue resolution center, because I'd rather have a business that doesn't generate that many issues. But okay, aside from the point, they're not paying for issue resolution. That gets you out of hot water afterwards. They're also not paying you to hire the best people in the world. They just want the best service. How you get that strategically for you might be, we're going to hire the best people in the world. Pepsi is known for generating future HR leaders of America. Why? Because they pride themselves on their leadership program. They're like, nobody's going to have a better people management practice discipline than us. Great. I'm not paying you for that. A Pepsi better not cost 3 times what a Coke does, because I'm not paying for that. I just want them to be aware enough of the world to pull the cogs and whistles and gears and levers to make the poison water. Oh, I'm sorry, Pepsi and Coke. I'm not digress. They make all kinds of really healthy stuff. I don't know.
It's okay.
Anyway.
You're the one that drinks them, so you you probably had them on camera on this show.
I love it. Right? I love you people. Anyway, so
I can confirm he's agnostic and he loves both of you.
I do. I love everybody. So you better not be charging me for it, because I'm not paying you for that. That is your strategic competitive advantage against any other company. In their minds, that's what they're saying. Great. And somebody else is going to go with a different strategy. That's over there. But that doesn't mean that's part of your value chain. Even if you say, but people love us for it. It's part of your brand. Let's just be clear of where it is, so we're making the right decisions when we start pulling at things and tinkering with things and try to disassemble them later, because we're working on a different project and we don't have our eye on whatever that discipline is. This is how the disciplines get linked together. So this lens gives you a path to see, this is the thing that they are paying for. Therefore, now that I see that, I will not overspend on my hobby, because of what my hobby is leadership. I love leadership. I eat that shit up all day. I'll go to conferences where leaders tell leaders how to be leaders, leading leaders. Gobble it up. Anybody paying for that around here? No. We already have the notes for leadership. We already play it. And no one's going to pay us anymore for me spinning my wheels on something because it jazzes me up. It's not why we're in business. That's why we have hobbies and other things we do on the weekends. I'm not saying your business shouldn't light you up, because if you spend any time with us, you know that that is a requirement to even stay in your business. But you don't get lit up just because you bear your head into the one discipline that you want to play with, because it's fun for you, but it doesn't deliver any value, because then your business will be gone. Your business has to, before it does anything, has to deliver value. Then we find out how we can do that in a way where you can get lit up and all the jobs that need to be done get done. So our value chain tells us these things. This is where the money's made. This is where the value is delivered. And therefore, anything we can do to make those processes better, faster, more gooder, Anything we can do to improve those processes is going to improve the customer experience and therefore be a good thing. And anything that we do over here in the other supporting places, because it's going to make us feel better, more efficient, et cetera, and so forth, that's okay, so long as we're making sure that it doesn't screw up the value chain. I just had this happen to me where a service provider who I've been with for 20 years sold the business, new person takes over, and they start automating for efficiency, improving their processes, changing how things run around here with an eye towards them, or at the very least, an eye towards all processes are the same. And what they did in making their experience better for them and their bottom line, they impacted me and my experience, and now I left. And so did a lot of people I know. Whoopsie, we forgot to keep an eye on the value chain. So this helps you with your value proposition. It helps you with your marketing then later, because you're knowing exactly where the value is buried in your business, and you know how to talk about it, how you extract it, how you make it become that thing. We have a secret sauce, and it goes through the flux capacitor, and then time travel happens. Amazing. You can't tell that story if you don't have this lens, if you don't have this ability to see inside your business and to know where the most important handoffs are and who the real teams are. How does work really need to be sorted if you can't see how this dye injects through your system? Does that make sense to you, Brandon? To you, I know it makes sense.
Preach, brother. I want to clarify one thing real quick, because some people do get hung up on the customer service aspect, and I know that's a brand issue. So let's clarify that real quick. And then I want to ask one final question before we wrap up. So service is important. Customer service, customer experience, whatever you want to call it. There are some companies where service is part of the value chain. And I don't mean strictly service companies. I mean, let's take a pool company, for example. They could have a maintenance plan for their customers where the service of the pool, servicing of the pool, is a paid for service by the customer. On that same note, putting in the pool with a hole in the pool liner, now you have a customer service issue. You have a problem resolution issue. That is not a service that the customer is paying for. They paid for the service of a pool that's intact without holes in it.
Yes, sorry about that. And that's why I said, think of, when you're thinking of service, think of it as issue resolution over here, not in fulfillment. Fulfillment is, I pay for lawn service, you better come and mow my lawn. Customer service, issue resolution is, you rode over all my sprinkler heads, and now who do I call? Sorry. I'm not in that
service provider.
Right. Call your service provider. So that's what we mean. So issue resolution at the tail end, or I guess even I can't even log on to your system, right? Wherever the issue arises, you need to prepare to meet that issue. That's issue resolution. That's different than, and you've got to have it. That's like one of those gotta haves. No, we don't fix anything. What do you mean you don't fix anything? Who do I call? I paid for Windows to be installed. They're all falling out. Well, I don't know, pay to have somebody else to do it. We're not going to resolve it, right?
But what if you don't? This is a separate episode, but what if you design your process so well that you never have an issue to be resolved? That's an interesting concept.
But that doesn't fit here where we are right now. So we will do that one when we get to that. For this, okay. And you can do that, and that comes kind of before this, when you have your value proposition and then you map out the value chain to begin with and say, where are the hiccups? Where are the potential places where we could fall down? And can we make that ironclad so this thing just hums? And that becomes that old commercial of Maytag repairman sitting there falling asleep, like wishing the phone would ring for something to do.
So that's actually where I wanted to go next and wrap up this episode. We have 4 minutes to record this. How does someone walk away from this episode and what's next, basically? If you've never heard of a value chain, or maybe yours aren't clearly identified, wherever you fit within this, how does someone walk away from this and map a value chain in their business? Maybe you have several. What do they do for that?
Oh, crap. Well, in 4 minutes. So because
speed version. And we could always do a part 2. So
speed
put that out
version. So you've got to know, you already have had to have done the work. Go and listen to our stuff on mission, vision, and core value. You got to know, what is your mission? Who are you serving? And then you need to do some work on a value proposition. What is the value I am trying to deliver them? What are the jobs to be done that I am solving for those people? And you need to go back and do this, not just look at all of your processes and say, where does the real value come? Because if you haven't done this before, you may not be able to see it, and it might just look like everything bleeds into everything else. Okay. So if you haven't been doing a lot of process mapping and job description and job function documentation, it's going to be hard to do it. So start with, what's my value proposition? What's my promise to the marketplace? And then what processes, if suddenly nobody worked here, we threw all the jobs out the window, and things have to get done in order to do that thing directly that the client can't do for themselves, or I couldn't outsource because it's core to what we do. If you can't outsource it, it's core to what we do. That's another indicator that you might be talking about your value chain. And then just look at all the things that have to happen, regardless of where you had them before, across your matrixed organization or whatever it is. Just, these are the steps. And when you come across, well, then somebody would have to hire that person first. That's HR. Just put it over here in a bucket. We're not really mapping it. We're just making a note for later. And once you see where something goes from nothing to something, from the raw materials into the widget, map that out, name the steps, and then now you can start doing your documentation and see where all the handoffs are and where all those other processes that you knew had existed somewhere out there that supported this, they will start to emerge. And now you'll have kind of a clear line of this like beacon of value through your business, and who touches it where and when. Now we can start the process of proper team formation and job alignment and job functionality from one to the other.
I love it. That also sounded a little bit complex, but guess what? I have great news. It's not, but it might be. So we'll give you the grace to say maybe it's a little bit complex. We have training videos in our school community, and you are more than welcome to check those out. Just message us. We'll let you in. How about that? Come have a conversation with us. You can join our school community. All of this training, all of the training videos and access you need to start building out this stuff for your company is in there. We don't bite. It'll be fun.
In those videos, I describe it to my children and they get it. It is
Actually,
not,
yes.
it only sounds, if you haven't heard these terms before, it only sounds complicated because you just don't know the language. There's a lot of dumb lawyers out there that make people think they're smart because they throw a lot of Latin around. You just don't know the words. Once you know the words, you'll realize what big dumb idiots me and Brandon are.
I love it. And yes, his daughter did basically teach one of the lessons. She was the example with one of her businesses with one of your sons, which was awesome. I loved it. So yes, it's very simple. You just have to hear it, see it all laid out, and then do it for your business. I promise you, you will like what the results look like when you do it for your business. It makes things a lot simpler. All right. Maybe we'll do a part 2 on value chain. Maybe we won't. I don't know, but we will see you next week. So please subscribe. We are at Ask What If over on YouTube. That's the best place to access all of our content. See you for next time. Bye.